Amy, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. Now, Amy, I know that your transformation has just been so big in so many different ways.
Yeah,
I think you're a completely different person in many ways, and
totally.
in a beautiful sense.
Yeah.
You're warmer, you're so much warmer. Your business has benefited from this, your
Yeah.
clients are benefiting, your family has benefited.
Yeah.
Now, in a way, I actually think you're a completely different person. How,
Agreed.
what's different? Tell us about the old Amy, and then what's changed through this wonderful Quest program.
Yeah. So the old Amy was so rigid. Like everything was so black and white, and there were so many rules. And
It's hard to be around for people.
yeah, it was tough for people to be around me. It was tough for me to be around me.
Wow.
So other people, as hard as it was for them to be with me, they got to leave. I was stuck with me. And living with me was really hard work. It was hard work for those around me. Every now and then I look back now and I'm just so grateful that my husband stuck with me at that time. And I look at the version of me now and don't know how he could keep showing up to me back then.
Wow. Well,
And he did somehow. And so, yeah, so the level of rigidity, I think part of it was that he could escape. I couldn't escape me. And I wanted to so often.
Were you tired? Were you exhausted?
I was exhausted. I was miserable. So I would hide and hope that I could sleep so that I could then disconnect from me. Like that was my only out, or it felt like that was my only out, was just to curl up and hide under the doona. I remember hiding under the bed at one point, just wishing the world would go away and wishing I could find a way out of the mess that I'd created for myself.
And how did you find us? How did you end up finding the Quest? Like what drew you to this?
I think in the beginning I was drawn to help others.
Okay.
So as much as on some level I knew that it was me, it was way too risky to share that out loud.
Yeah.
And so
because that will help out a lot of people. I think that there's a lot of shame. A lot of the Quest program is about removing that shame.
Yeah.
So many people have shame. It's like, well,
yeah.
I can't have a problem.
Yeah. And I definitely came from that space of I can't have a problem. I've got to have my shit together.
Yeah.
No one can know. So I was hiding from the world, but the world didn't know. So to the outside world, I looked like I had my shit together. People I was engaging with had no idea how unhappy I was and how miserable I was in my life.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so admitting to myself that I needed help, that was a really big deal. And I'd been exploring personal development stuff for quite a while under the guise of I want to help others. I want to help my husband. I want to help my kids. I want to help my family. I want to help my clients. Everyone except me was on that list.
And that was because it was more acceptable, I guess, in a way to be doing. It's like, well, you're so altruistic. You care so much about others.
Yeah.
This is an interesting question. Then, did you know that you really needed to help you, or was it like because I know sometimes the things that we're afraid of, sometimes we bury them out of sight, and they can be out of our awareness.
Yes, I think most of it was out of my awareness until someone asked the question. So Sharon asked the question, who sees you? And in that moment, so I started with like the external, no one sees me and I'm so misunderstood. And sitting with that question a little bit longer, I realized I didn't see me. It wasn't until someone else had kind of asked the question, though, that I realized that I wasn't seeing me and I wasn't there for me. So as much as I felt like I was avoiding the world and I was avoiding other people and I was avoiding relationships and I was avoiding a lot of things, what I was really avoiding was me. And it wasn't until Sharon asked that question, who sees you? Yeah. And I kind of went, well, not even I see me. And that brought up a lot of stuff for me.
Yeah.
And that was...
Sounds like that was a turning point.
Yeah. So there was a lot of sadness in that. There was a lot of anger in that. There was definitely a lot of shame in that. And that was what then spurred me on to connect with Sharon, the quest knowledge. Because if she knew to ask the question, she knew how to answer the question. That was my thinking. And that's definitely been what I've discovered. The ultimate UQuest stuff and the work around this has definitely been the answer I was looking for. And then if she could be that person for me and see me, hopefully she could teach me how to be that person for me and teach me. And that's definitely been the journey.
It's beautiful. Yeah. So tell me about that. What's that journey been like for someone watching this who's okay, I feel ashamed maybe to have my own problems, because I think culturally, our culture all around the world still really does shame people for having problems. It's something that I really look forward to at some point us growing out of as a culture and as a people. And this is, I see the quest as a way forward for us to do that from the ground up. For someone watching that's saying, okay, wow, what does it mean to learn how to be there for yourself and to go through that journey? What was that like for you?
So it was really scary in the beginning.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. I think that'll be validating for people.
Yeah, it was really scary. And there were moments where I wondered if it would be worth it. Yeah. And moments where I wondered, like, if I keep opening these rabbit holes and I keep discovering this stuff about me, like, where will it end? And will I ever get to the bottom of this? Wow. And in the beginning, that was the only kind of question that I had. Over time, I realized that there's not an end point to it. It's a continual journey. Yes.
And did you slowly start to see that as a good thing? Because it's like we will never ever fully know ourselves. And I think when we're on a journey of growing our self-esteem, that's something that we're excited about. But in the beginning, I guess I see how that can be daunting. It's like, oh, do I have to learn about me again? And
so there was elements of dauntingness and overwhelm with it. It was more that I wanted to fix me. Like, if I could just find what's wrong with me and what's broken in me, I'll get to the end of this. And then what I've realized is I was never broken. I was never, like, there wasn't anything to fix. Yeah. There was just me to reconnect with.
It's beautiful.
And so letting go of this need to fix what was already whole and complete and what was already wonderful, that was a big turning point as well. Just acknowledging there's nothing to fix. No. There's nothing wrong with me. And I could have given you a list of 1,000 things wrong with me and 1,000 ways I needed to be fixed, and the past traumas that I'd had, and all of these stories that I was holding on to. None of them were true and none of them were real. And so acknowledging I am whole and complete. And there are days where I still lose and disconnect from that message and I buy into my stuff.
Of course.
Ever unfolding journey. But to let go of I am broken and I need fixing. Will this be what fixes me? Yeah. And just embrace, will this be how I reconnect with I am whole and complete and wonderful? And I couldn't have done that without the support of the community and like yourself and Sharon, just reminding me you are whole and complete. Like, I can see you've forgotten it in this moment. I'm just going to give you this nudge and remind you you are already whole and complete.
Yeah.
You are lovable. You are worthy. And those words, in the beginning, I rejected them completely.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
wow.
there was an element of, like, what do you know? You don't know my story. Who are you to tell me that I'm wonderful?
Yeah.
And so accepting that was really difficult. Accepting and acknowledging that was really tough. And at some point, there was this moment where I kind of went, what if I did believe it? Just for a second. Like, I'm just going to give I can't, to hold on to it for any longer than that was too much. But just for one moment, can I just take that on? And I did, and it was weird and unfamiliar, and I kind of questioned it a bit, and I pushed it away again, and I dabbled in and out. Like, this hasn't been a smooth journey. This has been an up and down ride.
Yeah.
And embracing that, like, not having to get it perfect, not having to get it right, that was huge.
Yeah. Congratulations.
And so, yeah, thank you.
And thank you for sharing that. It's a beautiful example of the challenge of hearing about this new world. You know, I remember when I first heard about, you know, you've got an inner world. I thought, what's an inner world? You know, what do you mean? Do you mean my stomach? Like, what's in there? Yeah. To be able to accept this new reality that you are enough and that you're worthy and that you're lovable and there's a pathway to be able to have those as feelings is wonderful. Yeah. Share with us a little bit about how is life different right now? Give us a context. What's relationships like? What's life like as a result of being in the quest? Yeah. So I reckon the quest saved my marriage. Wow. We were in such a dark place, and understanding how we were operating in our relationship and the conditioning that was shaping that, and being able to have conversations with my husband, be vulnerable with my husband. He'd never seen me vulnerable. Amy has her shit together. Amy takes care of everything. And I was suppressing all of that, but it was eating me alive inside. So letting that out, there's now a far more fun version of me and a far more playful version of me, and warmth and compassion. And so we have far more engaging conversations. We're more connected than we've ever been. Congratulations. Yeah. And the same with my kids. So my kids at the age of about 2 had chore charts written out on like pictographs, because I was that level of controlling and rigid. I know. Wow. Okay. And so they were becoming little robots. Right. And they were very conforming. And to the outside world, like, everyone's, your kids are so good and it's so wonderful. And with what I know now, I look back and it's like, yeah, no, they were shut down. They were getting ready to go out into the world and be just as dysfunctional and just as disconnected as I had been. Yeah. My daughter now, she has the best back chat. Like, she will call me out on stuff and we have the most fun and engaging. She's this week, so when she was little, she used to giggle when I pressed her nose, like newborn baby, like just small and cute. She's been having a tough time at the moment with what's going on. And the other day I pressed her nose, she still giggles. The button still works. Yeah. But she started trying to do it to mine, and my old pattern came out again. And so she pressed my nose and I didn't giggle. And I kind of reflected, and I went back into some of my study materials and playing, and realized I want to reflect that back to her. So I started giggling when she presses my nose. And she's delighted by this. Like, it's the best game ever. I made mummy work. Like, it just, right. So we've got this laughter and fun and playfulness and cheekiness and an ability for them to have their own boundaries and to express their needs. None of that was available in our relationship before this work. Amy,
it just,
it's just awesome.
yeah,
Congratulations on so many levels. And
yeah,
thank you for sharing that. What a wonderful example of how the little things are the big things.
that's it.
Now, that's that beautiful moment where your daughter's really reaching out saying, connect with me, Mum.
Yeah,
Obviously, the coldness was, well, no, I'm not connecting with you. And now
yeah,
it's, well, actually, this moment is what it's all about. And let me have
yeah,
this moment with you. It's
yeah,
just beautiful. Amy, what would you say to someone who's watching this, who's inspired by your story and who's considering saying yes to
yeah,
themselves and joining the Quest program for themselves?
yeah. Now is the moment. This is the time to say yes. This is the time to do it. Yeah,
Good on you, Amy. Thank
yeah,
you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for your message and congratulations from all of us here on how much you've achieved. It's really wonderful.
yeah. Thank you so much, Matt. This has been fun.
You're awesome, Amy.